Thank you very much. From the analyst desk, and I have to agree, as far as BRTT is concerned, he does get caught out in the 5v5s. The bait Calista style hasn't worked for Brazil yesterday. They're currently 2-2, and for Brazil and Southeast Asia, these are two teams that are now going to pick up a win, one of them will, and be tied for first place. Exactly right, and consistency is the biggest issue for Brazil, not just BRTT. He's inconsistent with positioning, but the rest of this side, Yamato Cannon kind of addressed that, saying the gangplank pick from the mid laner Kami, he was very inconsistent on that champion as well. And the interesting part about this entire matchup to me, before we get into the champ select, is SOFM versus Revolta. All right, we'll find out who's going to show up, because both junglers have had incredible early games, and then they've also had incredible early games that did not result in victories. So these are two things that the players will need to sort out. Revolta's Elise was instrumental in getting an advantage against Oceania yesterday, but it wasn't able to contain the Kassadin from Choo Choo's. So Twisted Fate Elise off the table, Misfortune Rengar. The removals as well. MCA, there's still Jax up, still Irelia.
Mundo.
Still Tom Kench as well, which Southeast Asia actually run in the top lane.
Yes.
But unfortunately resulted in a loss to the Japanese LJL.
And definitely still that Mundo available. The other interesting part here is we were touching on the junglers. Elise and Rengar are banned. Will they look for Elise Sin ban themselves to take it away from SOFM? They're not first pick here, CBL alongside. And every single game, CBL have locked Soraka out of the game in the bans. Yeah.
Will Brazil follow through? But that means leaving the Mundo up. What are they more afraid of? For the first time this tournament, they have allowed Soraka through. Not that it really matters, because nobody's played it, but that is a departure from the Brazilian style.
Yeah, very interesting. Of course, they could make the assumption that Moss is going to be more inclined towards the Thresh or Alistar, which are the two champions that he definitely favors. We even saw him playing that Thresh in the 1v1 as a perfect example. He's so comfortable on playmaking supports, and Soraka doesn't feel like it suits Moss enough to pick it.
And all but one game, Southeast Asia have picked a support champion in first rotation. The only game they didn't was their first matchup against Oceania, where they locked it in the second rotation. But Moss is definitely getting priority picks. On the side of Brazil, which direction do they go? They've got the world as their oyster. Elisen would deny the pick from SOFM, who had a phenomenal performance.
I was going to say Bard. They may lock in that Thresh, but Loop is just so good on Bard. We're yet to really see what he's capable of on other champions. But when he gets Bard, he is just unbelievably strong. In saying that, of course, so many options available for him to pick, as the Alistar was locked in by Archie.
So I'm going to depart away from the Bard. Taking a look at their history, Brazil have played Bard in 2 of their games, an Annie and a Thresh. Loop's Annie was not great, really. Didn't have the engages. We'll see if we can find the death sentences this time around. With Calista up, BRTT could still go Calista. Calista Thresh is a lane that we've seen a whole lot throughout the course of the tournament. In Southeast Asia, they're going to leave their top lane and jungler to last rotation. So that's a departure from the norm when it comes to sort of pick and ban priority.
Yeah, and most intriguingly, they've gone for the Tristana opposed to the Calista themselves. Optimus is a guy that just picks that if it's up every single time. BRTT, on the other hand, he is a player that has adapted to the new patch so well that he plays all of these new champions and does it so effectively.
We'll find out what he's going to lock in. I'm a little off balance in this picks and bans because the orders are somewhat unexpected. For Brazil, they still need to get their top lane, mid lane, and AD carry. Would you prioritize a counter pick against G4 or Archie if you were Brazil?
I would pick last for Kami. Based off current form for Lep as well, you're better off putting him on a tanky champion, not a carry champion like Aurelia or something that he can hard carry with, because he hasn't shown a record for success with it. Of course, I am wrong.
So they somewhat disagree. I guess the fact that Victor was shown allows you to at least get a comfortable pick and then maybe shield the weakness. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because Lep has not had a great tournament so far. I don't think he's really been enabled either. We've not seen Revolta spend a lot of time in that lane or really count.
The game against Os, all he did was go top, to be fair.
Yes, correct. Sorry, that was the Elise.
Yeah.
Where he got 6 kills.
Yeah.
But didn't get donated any to Lep at all. But what do they run? Dr. Mundo to the last rotation blue side. 3 games in a row if this gets locked in.
That's interesting. They did save the Mundo as an option, which could explain the drafting order from this GPL side. Mundo is only good into certain AD carries as well. If you can stack magic resistance and be fine with your health regen away from armor, then your item efficiency is so good. In saying that, they've got the Caitlyn in response, which is arguably why they've decided to lock in that Mundo.
Nivea would do relatively well against the Mundo, at least in trying to control his movement. But it's if. We're going to assume this is for Archie because of the Gragas.
Yeah.
If Archie gets ahead of Lep, there's no one that can kill him. Anivia's not going to have the damage. Caitlyn's going to take 12.5 years. So does Lep go for a Jax and try beat him in lane?
Jax or Aurelia, I would say, are probably the 2 best options for Lep against the Mundo. The base damage that they do is very high. They scale with their damage as well.
No. So, top lane, Jax or Aurelia is what we're expecting. Are there other options they could go? Maybe Lissandra? No, that's going to be silly. Expected the Rage Blade users.
Definitely expect the Rage Blade. Of course, he has gone for it.
Now, what does this mean for the team compositions? Southeast Asia have got a little mixture of everything. Not the safest of engage. They need a Gragas Barrel or an Alistar to jump in. Although the same could be said of Brazil. They're looking for a skill shot from Anivia. Jax, Counter-Strike, Death Sentence, so...
It says to me objective control above all else, I would have to say. Their team fighting is good, but both of these teams are strong when the other team is running at them. And that's the intriguing part, is both of these teams are that. How are they going to engage if it's not a teleport from either Archie or Lep in the early game, and a flash engage from Moss or SOFM, or a flash engage from Loop or Revolta in the late game? Summoners are so important.
And it is also stepping away from the formula that's got Brazil wins. It was that tanky top lane for Lep that allowed them to pick up victories. This time around, it's going to be a carry in the form of Jax, as even the Aussies are infected with that chant.
They are.
We'll need to see if Lep can put on his carry pants, because if he does not shut down Archie's Mundo, I don't see any way of Brazil killing that champion.
Completely right. Of course, they finally have an Ignite this time, so there is an adaptation there. Kami on that Anivia is going to be aggressive towards Archie in the late game. If Archie's being aggressive, he can throw that down. The other thing is that Caitlyn does go for a Last Whisper in her build and can upgrade that to apply Grievous Wounds with the upgraded Last Whisper.
That's what, 4th item?
Yeah.
Is that all?
Depends on a Caitlyn. Sometimes Last Whisper is actually quite effective 3rd.
Okay.
Just because you do so much damage with the ultimate and spells.
All right, the timer is on, ladies and gentlemen. 3-item Caitlyn versus tanky Mundo. Let's find out who's going to pick up the win.
What is Mundo's starting build?
Well...
He's made a necklace. What?
Oh my goodness. Right, Archie is the mad scientist, remember, in his 1v1, he's demonstrated that he is almost emotionless on stage, and all of a sudden, Lep is already in trouble, but the Lantern did not connect. There's no CC to follow. This time it does. Counter-Strike has been skilled.
Good stun.
Flash already used. But now you know that Jax has started E and blown his flash. SOFM. Go get your kill.
It's genius, you know? You invade the jungle at level 1 with your Mundo, with the many rejuve beads. You force the flash, and then even if you miss cleavers now, you regenerate the health. There's so much pressure.
Not on Archie, there's not. He's just going to regenerate.
Exactly.
If he misses the skill shot, he's fine.
The pressure's on Lep.
Exactly, as it has been all tournament long.
They're doing it again, aren't they? The GPL side, they're going to do that behind the turret invade, basically stop the minion wave. And now they're going to do a lane swap, which is very rare of the GPL side to do.
I would like to confirm this is bluesidestrats.txt. This is the second time that the GPL have played on the blue side, and I believe later today there will also be blue side against LATAM. So, LATAM will need to be thinking How does this lane cutting technique affect them? What is this going to mean for the tower pressure and also the shared XP? Because you can see the camps being taken, Rusty.
Yeah, towers go down extremely quickly now in the latest patch. It also lets them take the top half of the jungle, which you will assume will be mixed. They'll just have vertical jungling opposed to standard. But the CB LoL side, they have something to say about it.
Well, this is a 4 versus 2. Revolta's down in the bottom lane. Lep is also pushing that tower. BRTT's free hitting 4 members of Southeast Asia. I've never seen a duo facing off against 4 people in recent months. So what does this mean for the dive? Teleport's coming out from Lep. This may dissuade the engage, and it has. Lep has got the counter-strike charging, and he'll get knocked up by Moss, which means teleport used to defend the tower and dive.
And that's the best part about this. They force the teleport to prevent a dive. They have an Alistar with flash who can engage, so they have to teleport, or they will get killed under their turret. And now the teleport immediately from Archie in response goes bottom when the wave is pushed. It's a very clever strategy.
Worked out. If Brazil can maintain some control, Archie's used his teleport to get down to the bottom lane. So we're going to see the Australia lanes in Australia, go figure, which would then make these normal lanes, I guess.
Yeah.
The duos are top, and of course, Archie and Lep will go toe-to-toe. Surely Lep must have an advantage against Mundo during the laning phase. We'll talk about that in a little bit, as SOFM is going to get pressured out of the lane. Revolta doesn't want to go too deep. He's flashed forward, and the Furious Bite sinks it in. First blood to Revolta, the man you were looking at.
SOFM not even able to react in time with that flash, and once again, Revolta, doesn't matter what he plays, if he has early pressure, he will. And this is the downside of having that 4-person start in the top lane, is that your jungler falls behind in experience, and smart play from Revolta to invade.
Very smart indeed. Got himself a kill. The bloodthirstiest jungler at this tournament.
By far.
Does not donate kills, does not get his lanes ahead. He wants to get as fed as possible. Guess that's what it's about, being one of the best, if not the best junglers from the Brazilian region.
He puts on a clinic, to be fair, on how to gank and when. He's so good at timing and taking down people. The only problem is that he arguably takes all of the kills, and he's in an all-star lineup where all of these guys should be good at carrying with that gold.
Yeah, it's difficult to shine in every single game, but Revolta finds a way. Doesn't matter the champion, doesn't matter the opponent, just interprets the map correctly.
Revolta's like a disco ball for the team. So he shines, and it kind of like sprinkles off to the rest, so they don't look as bright as him.
Right, the disco ball Revolta. You've completely thrown me for a loop on that one. But yes, I do concur, and you can see Archie's picked up a couple more ingredients, the cloth armor and ruby crystal. It's all a mixing pot of ingredients, and he's going to need all of those ingredients to survive an impending dive. Rusty, is this going to end badly for Archie?
I would assume not, honestly. It might.
Let's find out. Lep is tanking the turret shot. One more will kill him, and it's an execute. Archie didn't even get the burning damage onto Lep.
All Mundo needed was the W on. I think he got blocked by minions too, Lep, and just goes down for it. Very fortunately, of course, an execute is nothing gained by this GPL side. And once again, Revolta, right place, right time. They execute perfectly, and they pick up another kill.
Kami roaming from his lane as well. Used the Ignite to assist with that dive. Got an assist, the Ignite to pick up the assist, and with that, has got himself Catalyst Protector. Returning to the middle lane against G4, but that's showing you some of the synergy between this Revolta Kami lane, something we have seen several times.
You know what it also shows me? Is that starting with 3 rejuve beads does not help you when you get dope.
You're not alive long enough to regenerate the missing health. Mathematics. Well, maybe Archie was not anticipating the level 5 dive.
Yeah.
And rinse and repeat. Revolta, he's coming in for more, finds the knock-up as well. Archie's going to continue to back away, and those turret shots, they do still hurt. So despite being made of paper, they can fire out lasers that melt HP bars.
Definitely can, and of course, Revolta just putting down that pressure is actually very heavily focusing the Archie lane also to support Lep, who is on a carry, starting with a pickaxe as well. kind of puts you in a predicament where your health bar is not that large, your sustain also doesn't exist, and after this item, you have to go for a blasting wand of all things. So being able to babysit your top laner, or in this case your bottom lane, through that laning phase, it gets you to the item spike quicker, where he's going to be overbearing solo.
Luckily for Lep, as far as the Rage Blade use is concerned, that blasting one will at least give some additional damage. Stack with your W and your ultimate, of course, but you've got to get there first. Level 6, got access to that Grandmaster's Might. If a fight were to break out, and you know, Archie, despite being dope, is still keeping relevance in CS, so you've got to give some credit to him for remaining relevant.
Definitely, he's being able to keep up in farm is a big deal. Lep, of course, is just pushing him in constantly. I feel like the waves have built up very timely for Archie every single time, but this turret is getting low. Yeah,
Archie's going to try force Lep away. Revolta's going to find SOFM. He's level 5. SOFM's got no mana. Chaos Storm comes out, and Flash Frost won't find a stun. Revolta actually out-farmed to level 6, despite being involved in 2 kills.
Yeah, a lot of pressure has been placed on ganking lanes and being present near the lanes, opposed to just farming. And though he's placed pressure down onto SOFM on this Gragas, he can still farm so very well because Gragas is clear, very easy to do without losing health.
We've got to give some more credit to Revolta. Another game he finds an early game impact. Admittedly not as strong as his Oceania performance yesterday, but doing well. We catch another glimpse of Optimus and Moss going even in that top lane. Nobody's backed yet. And that's a lot of gold. What's it, like over 2,000 on each AD carry?
Yeah, they have a lot of money to spend right now. The difference right now between both of these teams is going to be the jungler and the top lane though, and that's where the impact needs to come out in the middle stages of this game. Whether it's Lep split pushing for CB LOL, or whether it's grouping with the team and utilizing the teleport perhaps. If they don't actually get something done, this early game, as we did see in the game against Oceania, is for null.
We'll find out. There's the flash engage from Moss. Here comes SOFM as well. They're targeting Loop. GPL want their first kill, and it will be secured by Optimus.
And Loop taken down. Very good engage from Moss with the flash pulverize, headbutting him towards SOFM. This is something we've seen from so many Alistar players, particularly even in the game with the Rammus there. Lep's putting down some hurt.
He really is. Archie's going to throw out that ultimate and start to regen.
Tower's gone.
I don't know if they want to go for the dive. Archie simply cannot defend. He'll stick around for some CS if he can. G4's coming in and going to look to help out, but Archie's going to run out of that ultimate. Grasp of the Undying will help him out ever so slightly. I think wisely, Lep and Revolta take the objective and back away.
And Kami was also coming down the river to assist his team if Victor did go in to commit to a fight. The top lane, meanwhile, is going to continue pushing, so this is good for the GPL team. They're going to pick up an objective. The gold lead will come back to very close to nothing difference.
So Optimus is now going to back. The problem is he's not backed at the right time. He's got a Doran's Blade, no mana, and he's going to get flashed. Oh, the flash away. Moss is in trouble. Kill will be donated to Left, while G4 is now in trouble. He gets stunned. Insta-cleanse. Flash defensively. Chaos Storm is chasing Kami, but Kami should be able to get away. He's going to allow the damage onto SOFM, who flashes away from Revolta. Revolta knocks up the minions, and it's a battle on every front.
Did G4 flash SOFM's body slam?
I think he may have.
On the assumption that it was an enemy? That's very questionable. He cleansed the stun already and then immediately flashed for no particular reason. I have to assume that.
I did not see if Kami had thrown that E out. So we'll have to hopefully maybe get a replay and we can watch the intricacies of the trade. But CB LOL, they've got themselves a second tower. They've got themselves 3 kills. They're looking at the Herald. And there'll be nobody around to contest this.
Lesson number 1 of taking the Rift Herald is focus the eye as it does true damage that they've just now started to do, of course. Looks like Revolt is going to pick that one up.
Did not see if that was intentional or not, but going to give him more of an advantage when he comes into lanes. We'll reveal any ganks, of course,
yeah.
if there's minions around. But I think important to note that Lep has just picked up both the Rage Blade and the Vamp Scepter.
That is a very fast-scaled Jax, of course, 2, 1, and 0. So has those 2 kills on the board. The gold income is going to be through the roof from here on out, and Mundo's laning is going to be very difficult because he still has 2 rejuve beads to go into something. And in terms of item slot efficiency, doesn't exist.
And is the definition of hashtag not worth.
Yes.
So, questionable itemization. As far as gold is concerned, Archie is 1,000 gold behind Lep, thanks to the towers and the kills, of course. So, gonna have to play some catch-up. Very luckily has headroom, right? Has the ability to grow if the GPL can actually find some kills. They've grouped up in the blue buff area of Brazil. And look, everybody's coming to play. Teleport is available for Archie, but is
that
not
is the
for Lep.
reset I've ever seen of a blue buff.
Hey, he got bored. His patience was at an end.
So they pushed them out, and now they're going to commit to the Dragon.
This is a little bit brave. CB LOL and Brazil are looking to engage. SOFM is on a slightly different page, as you can see in the top lane. Archie is going low, very low. Left, he's flashed forward. He's going to get the kill. Dragon is secured, and Lep made that look easy.
And that was the important part that Lep had to commit to. He was banking on his team contesting the Dragon on the assumption that Archie could not teleport, which was the one advantage the GPL had. They were looking to teleport in and have a numbers advantage if a fight broke out. So very smart play from Lep to ensure there was no teleport available for them, and he picks up a kill for it as well.
And he extends his lead even further with Rageblade working towards that Blade of the Ruined King. I'm already terrified of Lep's Jax. Revolta's looking for the tunnel. He gets interrupted, forced to flash into the Brambleback. Even he's helping out. The GPL have entrusted the monsters.
G4.
Now there's the wall. Kami's locked Revolta in. This is going to cost him his life. And Kami pieces out. Revolta's taken down. Kill donated to Optimus.
Over-aggression, of course, looking for the reinforcements of his team, but too little too late, as Kami has nothing to offer to help him, and had to flash into a red pit of all places to try and get to safety on the wrong side of the map.
So, Revolta caught out. Kami somewhat responsible by throwing up that crystallized wall. Let's be very fair. And now we get to see, right? Lep is fully enabled, 3-1-0. He was the one that built the Iceborne Gauntlet after the Rageblade on Aurelia.
Yeah.
Did not turn out very well. Let's see if he can carry with Jax this time around, be a real split push threat, because there is wave clear for days on the Brazilian side.
There certainly is. It's going to be very hard to push into Brazil at all. The GPL team, they've got the Victor to boot, but their saving grace at the moment is entirely on the back of their AD carry Optimus. 2-0 is Tristana. Not necessarily ahead in items, but far enough ahead that he's still a big carry threat. And the intricacy of a team fight working around the Jax is the #1 problem.
Theoretically, at least, the tools that Tristana will bring to the fights will help out against Brazil's comp, which we'll talk about when we get there. G4 has cleansed out of the stun from Kami, but he gets taken out by the Prey Seeker. Brazil have got their 5th kill of the game. The Counter-Strike will not stun up SOFM and Moss. You've got to be very, very careful. GPL are looking for a potential re-engage, but with BRTT waiting in the wings, this is a scary proposition. GPL concede control and back away.
Bleeding them out of every objective possible. They tried at the red buff. Of course, Revolta did go down for that one. Again now with the blue buff instead. This time it's successful, and now they've grouped for the top lane turret as well.
And this will just go down so quickly. Well played by Moss to defend. Kami actually unable to lock anybody in. The tower's down to 20% hit points. Everybody is alive for the GPL squad, and they're about to make it into lane. Let's see if Brazil stick around. There's no explosive cast from SOFM, nor is there a flash from Moss. So Brazil make it out very, very close.
Revolta is pushing his luck endlessly with these invades. He is so aggressive to the point where he is within a second of actually being killed every single time. We saw it at the red buff when he died. But this Brazilian side, we said they were bleeding out the jungle. They're now bleeding out objectives away from this GPL side, forcing them to walk around the map and just running them in circles. They'll find a pick eventually, and that's when it all explodes.
This is a 4,000 gold lead for Brazil at 16 minutes. They don't have a dragon yet, but that will be respawning in the next couple of minutes if memory serves. And this is a difference in style. CBLOL have got now a cohesive strategy. They're playing the map well. They're pushing the jungle. They even have support. Yes, Revolta got caught out once. I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
The rest of the decisions have been very good. In contrast to you know, the last 2 days where they've been kind of messy and a little disconnected from one another.
No, they feel a lot more refined at the moment, and it just comes down to the pressure that Revolta's placing, but the team working around that pressure. The Rift Herald, every single time they've actually started going for this objective, very aggressively trying to take that one down. And you can see they want to give it to Jax this time.
Yes, this time round, we'll donate it to the proper champion. Lep is continuing to extend that gold
That's
lead.
a lot, yeah.
It's nearing 2,000 gold. And that Blade of the Rune King's getting closer and closer to being finished. So, I mean, Archie, okay, he's got a Sunfire cape, but he's still wearing his necklace.
He just took one of the 3 off, right? Like, I don't know where he's going with them, to say the least. He just kind of had them for the, I'm guessing, the start of the game, where he was tanking the minions to get 2, regenerate it back for the dive, but it all backfired by 1 teleport from Lep.
That really did. Lep is doing a great job. He's not giving up any more kills. He's continuing to push this lane. If you look at your mini-map, Revolta set up for a potential fight, but SOFM is available for the action to break out. They've gone a differing route in Smites, challenging versus chilling. Both of them gone Cinderhulk for tanky, so invested in this late game front line that they need to do for the teams.
Definitely, but being invested in the late game as a frontliner is going to be more detrimental to this GPL team when the front line from the CB LoL side can actually kill your carries very easily, because this Jax, he's finished his 2 items. All he's missing is upgraded boots before he is good to go.
Well, let's take a look. I think he's good to go. I think
he's good to go.
Blade of the Rune King and Quincy's Rage Blade. Archie is not going to survive very long. Trading back and forth. There's some lifesteal for Lep, so he needs to sustain off his minions. Look how quickly he's pushing this lane in.
He's taking a lot of damage, though, from turrets and the Mundo Cleavers. Only having the Rift Herald, of course, the minions not as tanky, so does need to show some respect to Archie and his wave clear with that burning. Not going to be able to siege just yet, and yes, Lep's ready to go against Mundo, maybe not Tristana.
Yeah, Lep right now backed away. SOFM in the jungle, so there is the potential for a 2v1. Brazil secure the dragon, so this will tell SOFM that there's safety. He can come over the wall. He has a flash available. Archie's initiated the fight. Lep pinned against the wall, and that Chaos Storm will be enough to get the damage, and SOFM gets a kill credit. Brazil, they're pushing down the middle lane. They've got a lot of damage, and I think they're not going to play it this time around. Backing away, not worth the risk.
Slow and steady, no unnecessary risks from this CB LoL side. Besides Lep, who on this Jax is doing what's required of him, and that is preventing Mundo from being a presence anywhere else on the map, keeping him down. But over-aggression one too many times has actually cost him his life this time, as Gragas and Victor can make that rotation. The minion control is what CB LoL need to look at next. If they're trying to 1v1 top, and your team has cleared mid already from the GPL, what are you going to do?
Yeah, we'll see if they can get their rotator potatoes going. G4 at risk of being encircled as the RTT shoving top. I think Brazil have done a relatively good job at pushing the side lane. They're not focusing. Earlier when they set up for Dragon, they'd shoved bottom all the way in, and as Optimus caught it, they went Drake. You can see all the work that Lep has put in should result in the tower going down and a lantern to safety. But you can see the damage those cleavers are doing. Archie is already a little scary to BRTT.
So that's a lot of armor stacking as well from this Mundo. The Anivia will hurt him. Anivia also has Ignite, so Kami's a big threat towards Archie, and that makes team fighting very difficult to execute if you are the front line of the GPL.
Luckily for Brazil, not only do they have the advantage in the Summoner spell, they've got a 5,000 gold. Look at this, there's nobody dealing with Lep.
He's just bopping the tower. Like, it's just so easy to do. Again, Mundo has armor stacked. Jax does mixed damage.
And you know, that's also something we didn't really hit on in Picks and Bans. There's nobody to deal with the split pushing Jax. Volta's now caught out, and Loop's going to at least back away. Maybe Archie can get tanky enough to survive at some point, but Lep will just ignore him and chip away at the towers over and over and over.
The exact problem that we are going to see is eventually Lep's natural tankiness and maybe even one defensive item is all he actually needs to completely ignore Archie's existence, control the minion wave, take objectives, and force the rest of the GPL to do something or they will just lose the game by default.
Yeah, that's the case. I mean, good luck breaking through the wave clear of Caitlyn and Nivea.
Yeah.
When you do try to claw back this lead. So for the GPL, maybe a Baron play. That's where it's got to be at. Get vision, use that to get some towers. There's still 2 outer turrets standing, the most valuable. And they
The
just simply
hardest
don't
to
have
take
control.
down. Just because there is an Nivea and a Caitlyn, who, by the way, has a Hurricane, is critting all of the things, like they actually needed more wave clear.
He's critting all of the things. Is that your professional description?
Yeah, approximately all of the things.
I like that. All of the things, indeed. And the paper-thin towers still standing. SOFM is stunned, walled in. And Brazil just cleanly pick up that kill. Naturally, it goes to Revolta. Who else from CB LoL would get it?
You say clean, that's what they're looking for right now. Unfortunately, GPL with that scrying orb are going to spot them. So they do have to back away.
It's a little bit of respect there. The teleport for Archie, teleport for Lep. They will still take a lot of damage. Revolta's not tanky enough to kill the Baron and still win a team fight thereafter. So they're going to go back in. There is another scrying orb here on the side of SOFM.
Watch Nivea's mana as well, because if they commit to that, she's already losing a lot of it. If GPL fight, that's actually a good opportunity for them to win.
Oh, the B word, the B word. Is this going to be a Fnatic Baron or a Dignitas Baron? If you get that, well played. Brazil decide to peel away, play it safe, and look to fight another day. While Lep is still containing Archie in that lane, sitting on 1,800 gold.
Definitely being oppressive, to say the least. He's trying so hard to breach, but Archie, you have to give him so much credit, doing a lot of work to prevent objectives from falling in this bottom lane. Unfortunately, it's only an inevitable fate of someone who builds tank against someone who builds damage, is that you get outscaled.
Very few champions that will scale the same way Jax does. Especially when it comes to taking down towers.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to defending towers, Kami's got a death cap to back up that fully stacked rod.
Oh.
Flash engage from SOFM. He sends BRTT to safety. Kami with a good respect flash. Good attempt, but it didn't pay off.
One of the hardest things to do is actually deal with that, is there goes that turret we were talking about earlier. A lot of damage.
Yeah, throws down the Grandmaster's might, and Archie wisely backs away, but this is exactly what we said. Lep is going to ignore Archie. He's built himself up a 30 CS advantage, as well as a 2-level advantage. And he's finally going to go back and spend over 2,000 gold.
Yeah, that from this buy, and that is a Spirit Visage.
Insta.
Lep is going to be the hardest Jax to kill that you will ever endure if your name is Archie.
What a difficult situation now for GPL. The lead just keeps growing. It's not, you know, a gigantic snowball. It's a slow and steady growth. Up to about 7,000 now. Dragon will be respawning shortly.
Yeah, this game's going to have a mild acceleration to a tipping point. It's like rolling towards a cliff on a moderate hill.
And then eventually the boulder falls over and crushes the GPL.
Yeah.
Ominous. Well, Baron has been started. This is the desperation play. GPL have to peel away, although BRTT's not here. This will be a fight with the Brazil that are split. Baron is down to below half health. GPL, they may secure this one. They're going to get the Baron. It's secured with the smite. Revolta's gone in, but GPL are starting to die. Kami's locked him in the pit. Archie will fall next as Moss is going to use the Unbreakable Will to stay alive. The stun finds nobody. BRTT shoots out one auto attack. It's not enough for a kill. It's not terrible. The death sentence finds Moss. G4 has stopped. You should not have done that, friend. He's going to cleanse to get away. The Prey Seeker finds its target. Optimus is trying to salvage some kills. Revolta gets the knock-up and gets away. Luke locks down G4. Archie has enough time to teleport back in and says, here is another kill on the platter. The ace and Brazil are so far ahead.
That Baron was a desperation play. They got it. They executed on the objective very well. But the only way that they could run was towards the CB LoL's base. It was so easy for them to just pick their battles then, wait for them to get caught into a choke point, and that's exactly how Revolta managed the pick onto G4. Archie honestly just teleported in to say, all right, guys, you can have another one. This engage from Luke was great because it knocks away Archie. SOFM has no Gragas barrel, so Revolta commits and then takes the Lantern to safety. The only issue is that Moss was keeping Lep away. BRTT finally arrives. They force the flash out of Archie, and this is the point where they're walking into a jungle that they do not belong in.
I cannot believe the audacity of Revolta. Look at this knockup in a few seconds' time. Yes, he's fairly healthy when it starts. Catches Optimus and still gets out?
He plays this very well, and of course, Archie just comes to say hello towards the end of the fight. Had recall before teleporting back in to get full health, thought he might be able to help his team out. Unfortunately, lost them that last remaining Baron buff, so now they get no net gain from that besides 300 gold each.
What a phenomenal performance from Brazil to turn around their 0-2 day yesterday and look, honestly, like a reinvigorated squad. They're working together. They're using all of their resources correctly. Lep's even got another cutlass.
Can never have too many cutlasses,
I hope
of course.
that's going to be a gunblade.
God, it has to be a gunblade. He's got a Spirit Visage. He's going to run a gunblade with Blade of the Ruined King.
And Rage Blade.
The
synergy,
sustain.
boys. Synergy.
All he needs next is a Maw.
Oh, Moss gets away with the hair on his chinny chin chin. But Brazil, they want more. Gonna move in, clear out this pink ward. Moss is locked in. Unbreakable Will's been used. He's got a flash that he does use at the end. Honestly,
Optimus.
did not need to be there. Did not need to be there. And now Optimus is gonna start to recall. If
He
Brazil,
wants this. No, he wants it.
Oh, can he win with this build? I don't think so.
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay.
But he really wanted it.
Yeah, it was a flash and a heal for BRTT as well. Right, so Lep, teleport available. Baron not on any of the Brazilian players because I forgot that it was picked up by GPL.
That's
Sorry
right.
about that one. Confused myself. But playing the split push game. Look, BRTT's down the bottom lane. Nobody wants to challenge him either. And even an Executioner's Calling picked up for BRTT. Lep is knocked away by Moss. The slow comes down. He's going to hop over to a ward, steal the movement speed, and SOFM is caught out. The stun does not connect from Kami, and Brazil are now onto the inhibitor turret.
Nice
Revolta and
push.
Luke, they're peeling onto Optimus. The death sentence sentences Optimus to the grayscale screen. Down on the bottom lane, BRTT is moving his way around. Gonna dodge out that death ray. Lep still alive in the top lane. The rest of Brazil starting to siege up. Minions cleared out by G4 on this Victor.
This is the condition of victory that we were talking about 10 minutes ago. It's inevitable. Jax will outscale. And every single time someone other than Mundo comes top, there's a second member, you will see Brazil execute elsewhere. That's just what happened then. They pick up kills, but they didn't break the base.
That's going to be the key to this.
He called on a ward?
It's about sending a message, Rusty. I know, you know, I know.
And he doesn't care.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
See, that's what it's all about. You're this far ahead. Revolta channeling his inner predator as he spots out the GPL and backs away. The gunblade is picked up. Jax fully operational.
It's just great. It's just so much sustain. The fact he went for the Spirit Visage first indicates he knew what he wanted. And he committed to that build.
I also quite like this strategy, right? So yes, they're not relying on Lep to tank in team fights. They're just saying, look, Revolta's going to get you ahead. And then peace out. You play your game, we'll play our game. And that's how Brazil is like strategized. And it's working out.
It's so clean as well, the way they're trying to play it. It's slow, it's methodical, and it's working for them because the GPL actually as a style of region are very crazy. They're chaos. So playing this method into the madness actually is a direct counter if you can execute on it properly.
It really, really does. And BRTT has got that mortal reminder. It was the third completed item, as we anticipated. Truthfully, not even needed at this point.
No.
But obviously another great tool to deal with Mundo if by some horrible circumstances he finds himself in the Brazilian team. Now, let's give a little bit of credit really quick to the GPL. They have defended their inhibitor turrets. They have stalled the game out. And yes, they are still monumentally behind.
Yeah.
they are not giving up yet.
Definitely not giving up. There is no signs of slowing down if you were the GPL team. They've got a lot of fight left in them. The problem is 11k worth of difference is going to become very scary if Lep in particular just walks up, hits your turrets.
Let's see if Lep can do it. Baron's up in 30 seconds. Brazil committing the manpower, the ward power, the top half of the map.
That was a 1700 crit.
Ouch.
On that minion. That poor guy.
That's 3 times his health pool. All this vision somewhat signals a safe Baron from CBLOL, and if GPL decide to engage, kill them, win the game. If they don't decide to engage, Baron, Siege, win the game.
It's just, it's the best way for the CBLOL side to close this game out is by getting that extra push power, especially for exclusively Jax who can just do this.
All right, let's see how long it takes to kill.
Wow.
The ultimate is down. Lep is jumping forward. He's used all of his blades. He's not going to be able to pick up the kill, but it will force Archie away.
And forcing the ultimate means with the next wave that pushes, and if he gets Baron, will be that much stronger.
G4 starting to recall. Baron is live. CBLOL continue to group up, but BRTT's farming. I think he just picked up his red buff, so he will be rejoining the rest of his squad while the GPL team are split. The moment G4 shows, that might be the go signal for Brazil.
You know, the best part is the Gunblade and Blade are different actives.
Yeah, they definitely are. Lep is now being forced away. He's pulled the numbers and forced a flash, so stays alive. The rest of Brazil, they've swept the pit. It's by the numbers, and it's just really, really clever play. The wall will even lock
Even
out.
the thresh wall, they're so stuck.
Yeah, there's literally nothing that
Good hook.
GPL can do right now. And the fight will break out. SOFM is going to get chunked. Kami almost insta-gives him as Revolta picks up yet another kill. Now Optimus will find nothing at all. He does not have the damage. Revolta survives. Lep has been able to pick up the inhibitor turret. He's been able to pick up the inhibitor. And with Baron and the CBLOL team continuing to siege up, there's little hope here for the GPL.
They're sending their attention back towards the Jax, and the inhibitor is down. So this CBLOL side will start to push the top lane. Lep is not going to stop.
No, he will not. The wall will lock off any possible defense. Revolta finds G4. Loop will not connect with the Flay, but it does not matter. The tower's being dropped down. It is killed. The inhibitor's exposed.
Look at Lep.
Lep is onto the Nexus turret. They're trying to deal with everybody. Counter
Oh my
strike.
God.
Infamous is deleted. The tower is down. Lep's not done. He will finally get killed as G4 and Revolta find themselves more kills. 2 lanes of super minions pouring into the base, and CBLOL decide to play this one safe. Back away to finish another time.
And Loop showing he can hook his own team if he wants to, because that's how confident he is. This Brazilian side, they have a strategy, they're executing on the strategy, and there is nothing the GPL can do. They force chaotic play out of you, but there is no signs of stopping on their one dedicated strategy here. CBLOL, they should have this in the bag from now. The gold lead's ridiculous.
Randian's Omen just got picked up by Lep. There's nothing you can do anymore. Oh, that is terrifying.
I mean, Lep has teleport, by the way. He's up in 3 seconds, and there's a ward, 2 wards in the base.
Oh, did he get one of those Nexus turrets?
Yes.
I think he did. So
He got one.
I don't know. There's a few members of the GPL around.
Mind you, he doesn't have boots upgraded yet. He's still got brown leather bags on.
We have to. Oh, he doesn't need anything. We can leap.
Yeah.
Q. That's it. That's all you need.
I get
dude.
it. Leap is
And-
just let with an A.
And when you can, oh, I like that. I like that lane. Also the gunblades. You see, you can stick to targets that way.
Yeah.
Meta, next level. Kami, you've just channeled all your
Another
minions in.
hook.
Wow, Archie's just gonna get shredded down. Death sentence won't connect.
Oh, Loop.
Gets caught by the gravity field. He is taken out. Small misstep from the Brazilian squad. Overstepping their bounds. They're still waiting for the super minions to be ushered into the lane. Baron will wear off shortly.
They lost their easiest chance to end the game just there by Loop playing over-aggressive when Lep was trying to push the top lane, get the minions set up to then either teleport bottom or join a team fight.
Well, Moss is going to get taken out. He too was on the wrong side of the Brazilian squad, maybe expecting them to be on Dragon already. And of course, CBLOL just stopped along the way.
But at this point in the game, even putting a ward down a dragon is a needless risk. You're confined to your base at the moment with two inhibitors down.
He doesn't have the blue trinket, Rusty.
Oh,
so he needs to walk in. You
yeah.
see, if he had the blue trinket, he wouldn't have needed to walk in there.
What an item.
That's it. Interesting to see as well, Brazil, because of how far they are ahead, and Lep's reliance on split pushing, he's still on the yellow trinket.
Yeah,
so
he can ward jump as well. So doesn't actually want to buy a Sightstone, yeah.
Works in his favor. BRTT takes a laser from G4. Lep is looking for another fight. Super minions down bottom. Right, so Brazil have got their entire contingent with them.
They need to break mid lane. It's the one remaining part of the base. G4, that was a good wall.
Ooh, very, very close. Loop late to pull the trigger. The inhibitors 2/3 of the way to respawning.
I like what Lep is doing by being inside the base. It gives them a flank option where there is very rarely going to be a chance of a flank.
15,000 gold up. It's time to finish the game, Brazil. Stop giving the GPL opportunities. They are gonna put a lot of damage onto this tower. Catching Moss will prevent some engage. And I like the wall from Kami. Now Lep, he's recalled, finally changed those brown paper bags to a set of Merc treads. Teleport is available as well. But Brazil are looking for opportunity. They are going to look for Moss. The Crystallize will lock them out. Moss flashes forward and finds nothing. Another death sentence from Luke. Moss is still alive, but for how much longer?
G4.
That's it. G4 is knocked in the air. Revolta finds 3.
Oh.
That's a great barrel, but it may not be enough. SOFM's trying to do work. Brazil are going to find themselves another kill as Kami is shut down by G4. Optimus hops and leaps out to safety. Lep's going to flash forward, and that's a dead Optimus. You are not a transformer. You cannot survive the bullets. Brazil will take an inhibitor, set their sights into the last remaining Nexus turret, and I do not believe that G4 can defend. SOFM is joining him. It is a 2 versus 4. As Revolta is backing away. He's got his ultimate to join to a tower.
The hook connects.
G4, it's caught by a death sentence. Luke delivers him to the Brazilian hands. And with the Nexus turret drop, Brazil tie for first place.
And a near perfect game as well from this Brazilian team. They play it slow. They play it well. And they come out on top. They beat the chaos style that is the GPL with calm, measured, effective play.
Took a while to finish, but it was well executed from start to finish. Question to the IWCA teams, what on earth do you do against Revolta?
First things first, you have to get rid of Jax. Lep's just shown he's so capable of split pushing and being very oppressive on that champion. Revolta, honestly, I don't know if there's anything you can do. You have to just set up a strategy for something to get past it. Do what the Oceanic team did. Just scale.
Feed to win?
Well, no, I don't mean the feeding part. You have to expect the feeding part. Okay. They scaled past it.
So the Mundo was one of the scaling options. It did not work out. So we're seeing Mundo used effectively and ineffectively as the tournament continues to progress. And for Brazil, another very big statement. They've got another game later today against Turkey. That will be a battle once again to see who can take sole control of first place.
That's right. And honestly, the Brazil we just saw is a very good chance of taking out Turkey in that game.
Well, we'll see how they do bounce back. For Southeast Asia now, tied at 2 wins and 3 losses. A few other teams, they've still got one more game. We're going to have to see if these tiebreakers are going to play out. But we will find out about those later today. For now, we're going to head to stage with Kami's standing by.
Thank you very much, Quickshot. Yes, I am standing here with Kami, the Brazilian faker, as some people like to call him. You can see the crowd there. So let's talk about yesterday before we start about this game. You guys had a great day 1, go undefeated, looked really strong, and then not a very good day 2. How do you feel you played yesterday? Because we think you played very well, but maybe not as much carry potential as we know you have.
Oh, no, I don't think I played very well at all. I think I played really bad, and I was really sad after the games because I blamed myself for it, mostly. And I'm not proud to say that we were a little bit overconfident coming into that, but we obviously didn't do the same now. When we studied our opponent, we actually had a draft going, and the results showed.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about that draft, because Anivia, a pick that everyone's picking up now in this tournament, is it something you have a lot of experience with? And how do you think Anivia is working? Because everyone that picks her up seems to have success.
Yeah, she really fits my playstyle because I like playing control mages and I can just zone people out. So I really like playing Anivia, just like Victor as well. I was really sad when he picked Victor because I was playing Ichigo Victor at that time. So yeah, that's why I picked this kind of champions, or Rihanna as well.
Yep, makes sense. And you had a very flawless game, really strong play throughout the entirety of the game, but you died at the end. What happened, man?
I was really sad because my support was just screaming, get the lantern, I'm an egg, I can't get the lantern. So yeah, I was really disappointed.
Awesome. So you obviously have one more game to play today and then potentially a finals to play tomorrow. Rough day 2, good day 1. Good start now to day 3. How are you feeling like the team and the chances kind of coming up to the rest of this day and then maybe tomorrow if you make it?
Yeah, so this win lightens up the mood a little bit because we were really nervous coming into this because we didn't want to repeat what we did yesterday. But now we're a little bit more confident, more relaxed, and we're still going to take it very seriously, of course, because we do want to go to the finals. So expect a great match.
All right, congratulations and best of luck to the rest of the tournament. But for now, we're going to throw it back to the analyst desk.
Well, thank you. Talking about lightening the mood, listening to Kami always lighten up my mood. What a fantastic character and what a fantastic play in this game. As said, the recipe for success, one of those ingredients is a control mage for Kami. Yamato, talk us through the rest of the picks and bans of those two teams, because you especially had your eye on the jungle for SEA.
GPO, oh my goodness. So we have SOMF. So
SOFM.
SOFM,
Sorry.
Pardon. So we've seen him play the jungle very, very well, but the cornerstone behind his success has been the fact that he has had a strong jungle matchup in the early game. Gragas is very weak against, not very, but he's weaker than Rek'Sai, and that is enough to kind of put Revolta ahead in this game. We saw instantly if SOFM gets put on the back foot, he doesn't perform as good as he has done in the past.
Yeah, and this is the thing. These are two very early game-centric junglers, and, you know, we were wondering who was going to win this battle because SOFM, especially when he took that exhaust Lee Sin, looked fantastic. Revolta's had some great performances and not being able to translate it. This time, Revolta, he goes into the jungle, he picks up the kill, really puts SOFM on the back foot, and then translates all that power into Lep.
Yeah, and it was this huge knock-on effect where Lep basically could do anything he wanted. He was put in the great matchup up against Mundo. Mundo can't itemize effectively into that matchup. Even Lep, I feel, had some itemization choices that weren't perfect for every situation he was in, but it was still good.
Whoa, wait, because during here you guys didn't stop to talk about the itemization changes. So what exactly would you have done differently?
Okay, so Lep did open up with the Guinsoo's Rageblade, which was fine. But then I wanted to see Hextech Gunblade on top of the Guinsoo's. Because once you go with that mixed damage, what can Mundo do? He was already itemizing against armor, and if you have that magic damage, there's nothing that Mundo can do. The game is done.
Yeah, like we've seen scenarios where I've accepted the Blade Rune King coming in. That was when Amundo built the Warmog's armor. Then it makes sense, but with the Thornmail, you don't want to build more physical damage. You want to buy the Hextech Gunblade. And on top of that, we saw the Spirit Visage. I want to see the Sterak's Gauge, because with how the ultimate of Jax works, he scales defensively with offensive stats as well. AP gives him MR and AD gives him armor.
Yeah, 100% agree. And also, Counter-Strike and Sterak's like this match made in heaven because he's surprisingly tanky. There's this window that you can't hit him. Then the shield goes off and you get all that HP back. And it just becomes like, how much do we have to commit to this guy to actually be able to take him out? So definitely think that's the right item build. I also like the hybrid damage that it brings. He can ignore a lot of the damage and go heal it up very quickly because of his W and how it works with the spell vamp and lifesteal. So definitely think that's something they should look towards.
And speaking of Brazil as a whole, we've always talked about Revolta and Loop dominating the early game. And then we've talked about the mistakes that happen in the mid to late game. In this particular game, BRTT, he has been consistent throughout, plays very, very safe, and we see Kami back on the control mage. It's starting to look flawless. And earlier today, we saw that some teams looked as strong favorites, but there's so many favorites in this tournament. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, so the thing that I want to talk about, even though Brazil had a much better draft, I want to bring it back to the GPL because we keep saying this chaos stuff, but their draft wasn't really good. They started with 3 really strong picks and we're like, this is great. Then they hover Mundo and we're like, wow, what a strong jungle pick. This is going to round it out. But they sent it to the top lane. And at that point, there was already an Anivia locked in. So you're like, okay, we are not going to win 5v5 because Anivia is just going to stall the game out forever. We need a split pusher. Mundo is not that champion.
I felt like the option was there as well, because if you imagine anything split pushing against Jax in the late game, Jax is eventually going to win any split push. I wanted them to pick the Maw fight, to allow them to engage on top of the Caitlyn, on top of the Anivia, and Maw fight also has shown in this tournament that he has a very, very good matchup into the Jax. Maw fight and Mundo in the jungle is just skip the Gragas.
Yeah, I want to jump off that. Literally, Malphite probably would have fixed most of the problems that GPL had in this game. They couldn't jump on BRTT. In fact, BRTT was like 1-0-7 by the end of the game. Didn't die, literally just sat there. He didn't have to do very much because everyone else had such an easy matchup and was just straight up winning.
Yeah, and that's the last player I do want to hit because we're talking about itemization so much. BRTT, 2 games Caitlyn, 2 games Rune and Hurricane. I hate it. Honestly, I really hate that item. It stacks headshot much quicker, but Rapid Fire Cannon is just so obnoxious, especially if you get that headshot off with the extra 50% damage from the traps. You can one-shot people like in the mid-game with that build, and really don't like Runan's Hurricane.
And on top of that, it applies on towers. Like they have the siege composition, the static shiv, and the rapid fire cannon apply damage on towers. And the extra range allows you to sneak in one of those auto attacks, and eventually you're going to win the game even quicker.
Well, notwithstanding those itemization errors, still Brazil at the top of the tables now. They do have the matchup versus Turkey coming up, not the next game, but the game after. Let me hear your thoughts before we go to break, because when it comes to late game decision making, Turkey is pretty good.
They certainly are.
Yeah, pretty, but go ahead.
I was just going to say Naru Kami. I cannot like put this matchup any like simpler. It's going to be so fun to watch these guys go head to head, especially because Naru has thrown the curveballs out like the Aurelia mid lane. It's going to be fun.
I feel like if Brazil put up the same performance they did in this game, I feel like they're going to swing the win, simply because of the difference between Revolta and any other jungler in this tournament. Revolta has been dominant throughout.
Yeah, I want to echo that. Both the jungle and mid lane matchups are big to watch, but I also want to pick up on what Kami said. He was like they were overconfident coming into day 2, and I completely agree. In this game, it really showed. Like, he literally looked way better, so did the rest of his team. And coming into the match against Turkey, I honestly just feel Brazil can take it.
We'll see, that's coming up, but we first have another game. Japan versus CIS is coming up after the break, so don't go anywhere.